Today marks a day in history that dramatically changed the art scene. The great English dramatist and poet known as William Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon today, April 23rd, 455 years ago. To commemorate the birth and life of Shakespeare, more than 400 students and their teachers from all over British Columbia are banding together to celebrate the arts. This is the 19th annual Goodwill Shakespeare Festival, and it will take place next Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Festival coordinator Lena O'Brien says that students will be taking 3 full days of workshops with industry professionals in theater, film, art, dance, music, and writing. The festival will be a gala showcase which is open to the public to display all that the students have learned. This festival is a way for students and teachers alike to get away from the stresses of high school life and let their inner diva and stars shine. As Shakespeare once said, "To thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not be false to any man." Basically, this is a long way of saying, be yourself. This festival is giving them the opportunity to do just that. Also on this day, exactly 100 years ago, Major League Baseball opened a reduced 140-game season. For reference, the Major League currently consists of 162 games per season. Sports writer Mike Vizzo thinks it's time for the MLB to reconsider this reduced 140-game schedule. Growing up in New Jersey, Vizzo was used to the cold. His baseball seasons were shorter in youth leagues, which means less exposure for players, as well as reasons to doubt their potential. He thinks this disadvantage inhibits more than just time out on the field when you're young. This seasonal disadvantage of having less time to practice can influence your future in baseball. He thinks this is why guys like Mike Trout get drafted 25th overall instead of in the top 5. It's pretty make or break. He's been advocating for it for years. The baseball season needs to be shorter, but will it actually happen? Even with the hopes of idyllic fairness? Well, owners will lose out on a lot of money. That is for sure. Owners will argue that players have to take pay cuts to make up for the loss. The reduction will most likely be pretty extreme, so players will most likely hesitate. But it makes sense for season ticket holders. People eat a ton of tickets because people rarely want to go to throwaway games where teams are playing nobodies early in the season. Vizzo argues that you are not a tougher fan for sitting in the stands of a freezing game. You're simply sitting in miserable weather with 1,000 other people. He pleads with baseball owners to cut the games to 140 games, just like it was proposed today, all those years ago. In health news, today, 35 years ago, the AIDS virus was identified as an acquired immune deficiency syndrome. Just 16 hours ago, it was reported that Arizona has recently repealed a state law requiring that AIDS and HIV instruction in schools adopt a traditional sexual ethic. The change poses a challenge to family groups working to protect children from harmful sexual education. The 1991 law says that AIDS and HIV education could not portray homosexuality as a positive lifestyle or suggest that some methods of homosexual sex are safe. In March, 2 LGBT organizations sued the State Board of Education and State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Kathy Hoffman, to overturn the law. The plaintiffs claimed that even though the law in question was constrained to the specific topic of HIV and AIDS, it unfairly stigmatized LGBT students. Many Arizona lawmakers also contended that the language was outdated, reflecting a time when conversations about AIDS were riddled with fear and stereotypes. Arizona remains only one of a handful of states that requires parental consent before a student receives sex education of any kind in the public schools. The vast majority of states operate instead on an opt-out basis, in which parents must take action if they do not want their child to participate in sex education. That is your wrap up on Today in History. In Chapel Hill, I'm Marin Harold reporting.